Live from Collider Studios in Burbank, California, it's Inside Schmoedown with me, Ken Napzok. You might know me as the pit boss or the man who's lost his smile. I'm still trying to find it. We are here live on Collider's Facebook page with Inside Schmoedown. Thanks for joining me here today live, or if you're watching later on the replay on YouTube, hello, how are you? Comment in the comment section like a good citizen. All right, guys, we are here. A new era has begun. That is because, as it is now known, in a very defensive struggle, Christian Harloff is the new movie trivia Schmoedown champion, the commish, in a 14-13 3 yards and a pile of dust defensive football battle. He defeats Dangerous Dan Murrell. And you know what? This has, I don't want to say it sparked any controversy. It's definitely sparked conversation of what this does to the Schmoedown going forward. A lot of people know that the commish is going to be stepping aside. No replacement has been named. He's still, I guess, vetting candidates, sifting through applications. He's going to need this run. But a lot of people saying this is a chicken and an egg hatching situation. Adam, does that make sense?
Very much so.
Yeah, it does. Is his leave of absence coinciding with his championship reign? And no, it's not. It's well known that Harloff is taking some much-needed personal time off to deal with some very good things back at home, and he wants to keep his mind clear. And the Schmoedown takes a lot of this guy's life energy. He is thinking about it every day, building it every minute, and this is an empire that continues to grow and grow. And I think he sees it's a good time where he needs to just take a break. But I guarantee you, remember when Major League Baseball suspended the late great George Steinbrenner for a year in the early 90s, and they put like Robert Niederlander in control of the Yankees? You know George Steinbrenner was faxing him in orders from some secret location. I'm sure Harloff will not be able to just sit back and let this league run without him unless he finds someone who is a good qualified candidate. Tom Dagnino, I don't think he's that guy. We'll see. That announcement is forthcoming. But let's take a moment and just give a big congratulations to Christian Harloff. I've said this many times. He isn't just the commissioner. He isn't just a guy who decided one day with Mark Ellis, hey, you know, we should do some like competitive movie trivia. This is a movie fan. This is a guy who's been watching movies since he was a little kid. All right, looking up at the big screen and looking at Ewoks and saying, I want to be an Ewok. Harloff loves movies. He knows movies. This is why it is his job and his career. This is why he changed his career course from a very successful stand-up comedy career into talking about movies. He knows movies, and I think some people overlooked him on the path of this victory. Dan Murrell was not one of those people. Dan Murrell never overlooks anybody. That's why he is such a fierce competitor. But I do think we should all pause for a moment and just give a big salute to the new champ, Christian Harloff, and we will see where this reign goes. We'll see what happens at the Spectacular. We'll see how long it goes. It's also, if I may say, I don't want to take anything away from the outlaw John Rocha, from Mark Riley, especially Dan Murrell, but it's nice to have a new face with the belt. We've only had those three guys since Movie Trivia Schmoedown really kicked off, holding the titles, and they're talented guys. I don't think we're necessarily done seeing John Rocha in the title picture. And Dan and Mark will always have a claim to that title picture if they want it, but it's nice to have Christian with the belt, a new face holding the gold. I like that from time to time. It's nice to see these dynasties play out, but new faces is good. And speaking of one of those dynasties, we need to pause because at the end of this championship match, and what was it? I was here, right here in this seat watching this. This was a complete surprise to everyone, without a doubt. Dan Murrell announces right here his retirement. Cody, do you even have audio on this, right? Can we? No, we don't have audio. I'll mimic it. Hey guys, I'm retiring. No, that's a paraphrase. Dan, you can see the look on Christian's face. That is legit. This is not what they say in the pro wrestling business of work. this is a shoot. This was not planned at all. Dan Murrell is retiring for now. He did leave the door open. I don't think it's a closed door. It never should be a closed door for competitors like Dan and Mark Riley, even myself with my smile currently on the sidelines. You never know what can happen. I do want to pay just a moment of tribute to Dangerous Dan Murrell. We've got some clips of him winning the belts. This was the time he reclaimed the belt, and then immediately after, had to defend it against Sam Levine after he cashed in the free-for-all there. And this was the second time that Dan took the title, defeating Roca. And, you know, Roca earned that title. He had a big, big path to that title to take away from Dan the first time. But I don't, so do not. No Twitter controversies, no Facebook controversies. I'm never going to take anything away from John Roca and his title reign. But I think that day Dan lost the title, he was not in the best frame of mind. He might still be going up until this point if he had things had been different. But that's the first time. And then I think we got even clips of the very first time. That was the second time, I should say. Look at that. And you can start to see that the Schmoedown has changed a little bit. The sets and everything's grown. And this was a close matchup against Mark Riley. But Dan, look at that set. Look at that. It's like little babies. A little baby set right there. Look, here's the thing about Dan Murrell. I've known Dan for a few years now, worked with him. That's no secret over at Screen Junkies. And I watched that guy compete on movie fights. I watched him compete here in the Schmoedown. I've watched him compete just in the office, just in debates. He is a quiet, unassuming, very talented man. But when it comes to movie debates and competition, a fire. Not an angry fire, just a competitive fire lights in his eyes. And Dan Murrell is intense. Dan Murrell treats this stuff serious, and I think that's why he decided now to step aside. The energy was running low, and I think it was time for Dan to step aside again for now. I absolutely believe in my cholesterol-filled heart that Dan Murrell will be back competing at some point in time. So, to you, Dan Murrell, you've been dangerous. I'm sure we'll see you again, but it is a retirement, forever how long it is, a retirement well-earned and deserved. We thank you, sir, for building a lot of what the Schmoedown has right now. All right, we have got the team tournament is winding down. We are looking now more towards the Ultimate Schmoedown Tournament Singles Edition, and we have got a brand new bracket up. So this is what it looks like. And you see, we're going to focus on that first seed versus the 16th seed, John Roca versus Jason Inman. That is because Jason Inman fought in a very hard, epic, five-way battle to earn this final seed, defeating the likes of Robert Meyer Burnett, Scott Mantz, and a wonderful young upstart. Well, Dewberry was in there, and a young upstart named Ben Bateman, who made his first big splash into the singles tournament and was a John Corbett answer away from taking that spot. But that is something I don't want to take away from my guest here today, Jason Justice Inman. You earned that victory, sir.
I damn sure did. Thanks for having me here today.
Dude, it's so good to have you here because, you know, I'll start here with you because the Schmoedown, the Schmoedown is full of wonderful competitors, and I love what it is. It's not just bar trivia, it's characters, it's points of view, it's energy, it's passion. You have your John Rocas, your Makugas, you all this, you all that. But you, sir, in a world where everyone kind of revels in being the heel, the bad guy, you're one of the good guys.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I don't think there's any other way to play it.
Yeah.
I mean, what you see in the Schmoedown is me.
Yeah.
When I first had the chance to enter this tournament, I thought about creating a character, but you know what? I'm just going to be me. My mom said, be nice to people and just be yourself, and that's what I'm going to be.
And you are Will Riker in spirit as well, and in beard. And yeah, you do a lot of things, and it's early, but you do every year a charity drive for soldiers where you collect comics and you donate them, and you work now with Operation Gratitude, which is a great organization. I've done some charity comedy shows with them, and they send personalized package to troops overseas. You're a veteran yourself, so this just shows your character.
Thanks, man. Yeah, and we just got to prove that this November we're going to be doing it again with Operation Gratitude. Last year we raised 37,000 comic books to send overseas. And Operation Gratitude told me that they got a lot of letters, and they said that the troops were opening up their packages. They were not expecting comic books. And they were like, wow, this is amazing. So they want more comic books this year because they found out that a lot of the troops are nerds.
That's why I mentioned it. Well, and that, you know, it's interesting because this speaks a little bit to how sometimes prejudice and stereotypes, and you don't think of soldiers out there on the field of action being, quote, nerds. But God bless it, you're a veteran who was overseas, and you're a nerd, Jason.
I'm a super nerd. I'm a super nerd. That's why I've been gunning for that inner geekdom belt so damn hard, because I want it, Ken.
Well, I got some questions coming in from the fans who are live on Facebook, but also some stuff. Yeah, you've got kind of you got two kind of areas you're looking at right now. Team Trek, the teams thing didn't go so well, and I will come back to that a little bit. But I want to look. You've got in a couple months from now, the time it's weird. You're going to be taking on Emma Fyfe, right, in an Inner Geekdom match. Right. And how does it feel to focus on Inner Geekdom while you got the tournament ahead of you here?
You know, it's interesting. I used to study for the just normal movie tournament, and then I found that none of the questions that I ever studied ever came up. So I've decided to let Lady Luck carry me through the movie trivia. But the Inner Geekdom, see, it's a limited field.
It is.
There's only so many movies. I feel way more confident about studying those movies.
Well, here's an interesting question coming in from Lucas Schildbach, who says, have you been working on your, quote, weaknesses in the Inner Geekdom after 2 matches that maybe didn't go your way? So you just kind of said it's hard to study. Do you look at things you missed, or you just kind of have to flow?
No, I did. So the last time I was in the Inner Geekdom, the Wheels Lord of the Rings category threw me into Mount Doom and took me out of that tournament. So I have definitely prepared Lord of the Rings and Harry Potter, especially since I know that it's an Emma Fyfe strength.
It is that. And Eli Mark De Silva, says, how do you feel about your match with Emma Fyfe coming up November for the Inner Geekdom? How do you specifically feel? Like, there's another good person in the Schmoedown talking about good people. So how do you feel? How do you get that competitive spirit going?
You know, it's tough, but I have to take Emma out to keep going to Hector, and I feel bad about it because Emma is so lovely.
Yeah.
I echo what Scott Mann says. Fight for life. I'm with you. I'm with her. I'm going to feel really bad about taking her out, but I have to.
Yeah, you have to. And you also got the tournament coming up. You've earned this spot, wild card spot, 15th seed. That's a tough road ahead. You're going to start it out with the former champ, John Roca, who is a spirited young gentleman who competes with a lot of heart. And this is he's coming out of some disappointment in the team tournament, so I think his fires are going to be burning bright here. How do you feel going into this one?
Look, I would be remiss if I'm not nervous about facing John Roca. I mean, a former champion. Also, I don't know what kind of John Roca I'm going to get. Is he going to still be the hero, or will he turn heel because he's like, I got to get to the top, I got to take out these guys. So I don't know which Roca I'm going to face in the tournament. I hope it's the hero, because then then I'll actually maybe hug him when the match is over, depending on who, which way it goes.
Right. I think you'll hug regardless.
Oh, I think
you're that kind of guy there. So you get that. All right. I do want to talk a little bit about this and go to the teams. You're known most around here as being a part of Team Trek with Scott, movie release dates, Mance. 2 questions. First, Xavier Alberto asks, do you hate the movie release dates category?
Do I hate it? No. I actually like it because I know Scott can kill it. I'm not good at movie release dates, with the exception of in the Inner Geekdom, I am good at movie release dates. But I am a little hate it because Scott always tries to hit it on the wheel, and I wish that sometimes we would just stay with the choice we get. Do
you guys have a strategy? Do you huddle before? I know, Rachel and I, before our matches, would get, all right, what are we feeling today? If you get a peek at the wheel, you're looking at the – do you and Scott do that, or you just come on out and take on
No, we
teams?
do that. We predict which ones we would actually say yes to and which ones we say no to. But I will tell you this, when you're a partner with Scott Mance, sometimes he makes the choice no matter what you say.
Yeah. You can sometimes only kind of, grab onto his coattails and go through.
Yeah, Scott, being a partner with Scott is like trying to hold a waterfall. Some of it's going to slip out.
It sounds relaxing and clean. But Brian Nussbaum asks, how did Team Trek come about? How did you guys form?
Christian told me that he was doing the team tournament, and he said that Jason, I would love to have you in it, but you need to find a partner.
Right.
I immediately asked him, does Scott Mance have a partner? And he said, if Scott Mance says yes to you, you got a team. I texted Scott Mance and was like, Team Trek, ?
Yeah.
And he said, make it so, #1. That is literally the text I got back from Scott Mance. And that's how Team Trek came about.
And that's how it began. Yeah. All right, you guys had you see Trek coming out here, and this is from your guys' match with Team Action. And I have to ask, Jason. I have to ask you about this. Was a tough loss.
Yeah.
But from my announcing chair, just being around the studio, I have to admit, I am under the perception that Team Action, those young bucks, got into your guys' head. What do you say to that?
I think you're probably right. I think you're probably absolutely right that they got into our heads, especially Scott and mine. But you know what? When they're so cantankerous like that, like, to me, come on. When you walk into this arena, there should be a decent level of respect. That's one of the things why I love John Roca. Even at his worst heel days, when he came into the ring, he respected you for your game. Team Action, they don't give no shits.
They don't.
They don't give no shits for the respect of the game.
And be honest with me, how your face got a little red. How legitimate shoot angry were you when they're over there saying, "Who's Jason Inman? Who's Jason Inman?" What was going through your brain?
Well, that day, oh man, if they had said the wrong thing, I would have rolled over that table. I would have came over that table.
We would have had our first fist fight.
We would have had your first fist fight
with Jason Justice
with me,
the nicest guy around here.
And you know that's a thing if it's me that's going to do that. But now if they say that to me, especially after the 5-way, they say, "Who the hell is Jason Inman?" I can be like, "The guy who beat your ass."
Yeah. Well, did it feel good? Did it feel good to? Look, I give Ben a lot of credit. He jumped in there, got beat by a tough question, but you were there at the end. You were trading punches with him. Did it feel good? You're a nice guy. Put aside that thing.
Oh, hell yes. It felt damn good to beat him in that tournament. But you know what? He did play a hell of a game for coming out in his first time in the singles, right?
Yeah. That was the first time in that definitely that level. Will J. Rev Brandt has an interesting question. Will you join John Roca at any point in taking down the Kitten Club, the Lions Den?
You know, I will say this. If John made me the offer, it'd be very hard to say no.
Like a super hero faction to take down these big bad guys. I could see that.
I still want that revenge against the Patriots. We lost over 1 point. And if you go back and look at our tournament again, that match is the reason why we now have the JTE rule. It's the reason why we have the challenge rule yet, because if I had the challenge rule, I would have challenged Eva.
You would have challenged. I got a couple minutes left here. I got a good question. Going back to Bateman here. Nabil Rahman asks, and I apologize, guys, if I say your names wrong. I don't take a lot of naps. Would you, that's you, Jason Inman, accept a singles match against Ben Bateman? If that would settle anything, or do you feel, hey, I defeated him here in this 5-way, I'm done?
You know what? Let's let a year go by. I defeated him. It's time to let it go. I want some new meat.
You want some new meat? Yeah. Do you have your eye on any competitors out there?
I'd really love to go up against Mike Kalinowski.
Really?
I think he's a hell of a guy, and I'd love to see the battle of the nice guys.
Okay. I'd be interested in that. Yeah. I'd be interested in that. I got to ask you one final question here. Do you are a known Star Trek fan. Let's get outside Schmoedown for a second.
Sure. Are
you excited for Discovery? Because Scott Mance is. Team Trek going to come out in Discovery outfits next?
I don't know if we're going to come out in Discovery outfits. So that's a budgetary issue. But no, I'm excited. How can you not be excited for Star Trek? I am Team Trek, for God's sake.
You for a reason. Final question. Aiden Hosey asks, what's the one opponent you wouldn't want to find yourself playing against in the Schmoedown or in any one of these? You mentioned you want Kalinowski. Who are you like, I don't necessarily want it?
I wouldn't want to come up against Mark Riley.
Mark Riley?
Mark Riley, yeah. When he walked out of the 5-way, there was a split second where I was like, we've all lost. We've all, I almost stood up and was like, well, I'll retire right now. Bye, see you.
That is fair. Well, I'll tell you what, I don't know about your chances in the tournament because Roca's tough, but I'll tell you what, I like to see nice guys compete and win, even if you're about ready to jump over. Next time, just do it.
Just do it? Okay.
Just jump,
throw the mic
choke
at him.
Drew, grab Ben's head and just pound their heads together.
If I did, it would finally shut them up.
It might.
Yeah.
It might. They did a good job. Jason, thank you so much for taking time to come in today.
Thanks for having me, man.
Quick, give people where they can follow you and they can get information for your charity drive, which starts in November, right?
You can follow me on Twitter and YouTube at Jawin. That's Jawin. That's where all the information about that will be. And then also, if you're going to New York Comic Con, the first issue of my comic book, Jupiter Jet, that I co-wrote with Ashley Robinson, will be available there.
Absolutely. That is it for now. Inside Schmoedown. Stay tuned when the commission news gets announced, the tournaments heat up, and what will happen with Harloff's reign, and will I ever find my smile again, and will Cody tell me to wrap it up any faster? That's right. It's Inside Schmoedown for today. We'll see you next week.